We're just 1 month away from Apple's massive March event, and this one is going to be huge. We're talking about some of the most anticipated Apple products in years, including an iPhone SE 4 that's finally competitive with Android and a Mac Studio, packing what might be the world's fastest consumer GPU. But before we get to all that, there's actually one product that might drop before the event even happens, the M4 MacBook Air. This is shaping up to be one of the best laptops Apple has ever made. The M4 chip is insanely powerful, outperforming everything in its class on both CPU and GPU tasks, and the base model is finally getting 16 gigs of RAM, which is a game changer. Price-wise, it'll likely stick to $1,100 for the 13-inch model, and while the design isn't changing much, which is fine, it already looks great. We could see some new color options. One thing I wish Apple would surprise us with: Face ID, but I wouldn't hold my breath. Now let's talk about the most exciting product of the event, the iPhone SE 4. Apple fans have been waiting for a proper upgrade, and this one delivers in a big way, the biggest change. A 6.1-inch OLED display, which is a massive jump from the tiny 4.7-inch screen on the SE3. The home button is finally gone, replaced with the notch design from the iPhone 14, and the back features a single massive camera bump. That's because Apple is throwing in a 48-megapixel camera, meaning you'll get incredible image quality and even a 2x telephoto effect just from sensor cropping. The leaks suggest no action button or camera controls, but honestly, for around $500, this is an incredible deal. But here's the real beast of the event, the Mac Studio with M4 Ultra. Apple is taking performance to another level with this one, and according to Mark Gurman, it should launch between March and June, though hopefully we'll see it next month. The design is expected to stay the same, but the ports are getting a major upgrade with Thunderbolt 5, which will massively improve SSD speeds and display support. The M4 Max chip is already the fastest consumer CPU in the world, crushing AMD and Intel. And while its GPU is roughly on par with an RTX 4080, the M4 Ultra is where things get wild. Since the Ultra chip always doubles the GPU cores of the Max chip, leaked benchmarks suggest it could reach a Geekbench Metal score of 381,000, which, believe it or not, puts it right up there with the RTX 5090. That's absolutely nuts for a Mac chip. Apple isn't stopping there. The iPad 11th Gen is coming, and while its design is staying the same, which makes sense, it already matches the rest of the iPad lineup. It's getting Wi-Fi 6E and a brand new chip. Instead of skipping straight to the A16, Apple is reportedly using the A17 Pro, which is honestly insane for a budget iPad. It's going to have 8 gigs of RAM, double what the last gen model had, and that means much better multitasking, better Apple Intelligence support, and smoother gaming performance. Expect 60 frames per second in pretty much every major iPad game. The iPad Air is also getting refreshed, though the only real change is the chip upgrade, which could be either M3 or even M4. That would make sense since the iPad Air has always followed in the footsteps of the iPad Pro when it comes to performance. But honestly, if you're looking at the iPad Air, just grab the iPad Pro instead. Right now, it's $100 off on Amazon, and for $900, you get the M4 chip, 120Hz promotion display, and that stunning tandem OLED screen, which is by far the best display Apple has ever made. Speaking of iPads, Apple is also dropping a new Magic Keyboard that takes a ton of design cues from the one made for the iPad Pro. It's way better in every way, with a new angle, better keys, and actual function keys. If you use an iPad for work, this thing is going to completely change your experience. And finally, we have AirTags 2. Nothing too crazy here, but they're expected to get improved battery life and a new ultra-wideband chip for way more accurate location tracking. Right now, finding an AirTag can be tricky unless you're standing super close, but this new model should make it way easier. That's 7 new products coming next month, and while all of them are exciting, the Mac Studio with M4 Ultra might just be the biggest leap forward. But what are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to check out these videos over here for more Apple updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.